Hi guys and girls, and welcome to Magic. So in this video I'm going to implement a web API backend for selling courses online on an e-commerce website. And let's say I'm like, I don't know, saxophone teacher, and I want to like charge people, I don't know, $21 or whatever for access to my courses, my online courses. Well, then I can create that with Magic, and the only reasons why I probably aren't able to create it in 5 minutes is because I'm actually going to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So here I have my Magic backend Cloudlet. There's a link in the description of this YouTube video to where you can sign up for a Cloudlet if you want to. When you have your Cloudlet, expand tools, click SQL Studio, and let's create a database. This database we're going to call courses, and it's basically going to be the content of our courses. And let's first create then a new table, call it courses. Let's make its primary key. Thank you. Courses, let's make its primary key, course ID, which point we have an auto increment primary key for our courses table. And let's create the title for our courses. Text, not null, great. Let's create another field, call it description. Data type text, not null. And this is basically our courses. Thank you. Let's try again. Description, here we go, text not null. And this table we want to be accessible for anyone, including also non-authenticated users. Why? Because we want to use this table's content to market our courses. However, we want to have an additional table called sessions. So each course has multiple sessions, and each session can be, for instance, one, I don't know, field, one subject, such as, for instance, how to, I don't know, polish your mouthpiece or whatever, right? Which is like related to whatever course we're actually supplying for the user. And every single session is pointing to one course, foreign key, data type, integer, no auto increment, points to table, courses, course underscore ID, not nullable, create. So we have a one-to-many relationship from courses to sessions. So each session belongs to one course. So you kind of like have to like visualize this in your head, how it's going to end up in the front end as you are designing your database. But you can see we have a relationship here from sessions to courses. And then we want to go to the management. We're going to go to users and roles, and we want to create a new special role. We want to call it course underscore client. This is some guy that paid for access to our courses. Okay, ta-da, we now have course underscore client, which is a special role. Then we want to go to tools, CRUD generator, and then we want to choose our database, courses. And first we configure the table courses, which point we want everybody to be able to invoke the read endpoint for courses authorization, read, remove everything. Codify courses, and then select the table sessions. This is special. Why? Because at the authorization, the exact same text field, except it's in the sessions database table, we want to apply comma course underscore client. This implies that only these roles are legally allowed to actually invoke the read endpoint to retrieve the sessions of the courses, right? And codify sessions, and we're actually almost done. And at this point, we can start inserting stuff by going to, for instance, tools and endpoints, and then we can first find courses post. So let's create the course first, posts, courses. Let's invoke this guy. Title, very nice saxophone course, teaches you everything. Okay, so we've now inserted the course. It's got a primary key of 1. Now we can start associating sessions with our course. Sessions posts, title, session 1, teaches you how to set up your gear. Course ID 1, and we now have a session associated with our course. Now if we do course here, and we find the get endpoint, we copy it, and we go to Postman, which I've already got open up here, and then we create a new invocation towards courses. You can see everybody can get courses, right? We have one course here now, we can page and filter and all that beautiful stuff. However, that's beyond the scope of this video. However, if we invoke sessions, then access denied. Why? Because we're not authorized to accessing the individual sessions. So now let's mimic registrations of register, right? Let's say I am an aspiring saxophone player. I find this course online and I want to register, right? Okay, so I'm invoking post towards this URL, the register URL. Let me copy this payload, paste it into the body as not GraphQL binary. Hello, binary raw. Here we go. Thank you. And then my username is blah blah. My password is blah blah. I want to learn how to play the saxophone. And then this is beyond the scope of this video because this is about registrations. There's a link in the description of this YouTube video about how to understand how registrations works in Magic. So I'm just going to remove these parts. But if you want to know how registrations works, then look at the other YouTube video that's linked into the description in this YouTube video. blah@blah.com. Ta-da! I have now registered a new user whose username is blah, whose email address is blah@blah.com, and I can now go to my management, open up users and roles in a different window, and here's my blah blah user. Right now, if I had configured SMTP servers and double opt-ins and verifications of email addresses, then when the user clicks the link that is being sent to his registered email address, what will happen is that the role association here unconfirmed will be deleted, and the user will be automatically added to the role of guest add. And at this point, the user can invoke authenticate, copy the URL, open up another Postman window here, get key username, blah blah, password, blah blah, and authenticate. And now, crucially, if I inspect this JWT token, copying it, go to jwt.io, paste it in here, you will see crucially that the user belongs to the guest role, right? So if I now try to go back to this one, sessions, remember access denied guy down here, access denied, and I associate this JWT token as a bird token, and I try to invoke it again, I still don't have access, right? That's the whole point. Because the user is basically paying to become associated with the role called, what was its name? Course client. So the user pays the system to be associated with the role of course client. So let's now implement that logic by going to Tools, HyperID, expand modules, expand courses, and here you can see we're missing one folder actually. So let's create that folder, active folder, new folder, magic.startup. Let's create a new file inside of this folder, and the syntax of this file is actually kind of crucial. And as you're probably already aware of, if we expand, we don't even have Stripe here. So actually, let's install Stripe through the plugins. Let's find Stripe here, install it. Ta-da! We now have Stripe payments. Let's now go back to HyperID and let me show you something crucial with the Stripe module. Yet again, everything is open source. Here is the payments.post endpoint. What does this thing do? Well, actually, crucially here at the bottom, it retrieves the vocabulary, basically returning every single slot in the system whose names starts with payments.paid. This allows us to actually, inside of our module here, inside of its startup folder, create a new file whose name is paid for course.hl Hyperlambda, and copy this guy and then create our slots. Name it payments paid for course, which point now, when we have a successful payment, this slot is invoked as a callback sync from the Stripe module. And in fact, we can verify that by doing lambda to hyper colon x colon dot dot slash asterisk log info colon x colon minus. However, we already know what we want to do in this slot, right? And I presume already even you know too, and that is to associate the user with the role of course client. So let's do that. Data.connect magic data.create table users underscore roles values user colon x colon at dot argument slash asterisk slash username role course underscore client. Ta-da! And we're done. What we can now do, we can now go to, let me open in a different window in case I mess up some things here. Now we can find Stripe payment methods. We can do a post towards this URL. Let's use Postman, such that there's like no magic stuff going on here that you don't really understand how to reproduce in your own front end. Then let's go to body. Let's choose raw JSON. Paste in this guy, and as you know, when you are using Stripe, then the test card number is 42. Its expiration month is always 1 year ahead in time. It's October now, so that becomes 10/2023. CVS is always 3.14 minus the dot 314. And then let's remove the hidden parts. And now we need to apply our JWT token. We do that as authorization here, then this payment method is automatically associated with my user. Now I have a reference to a payment method. Now I can go and I can find payments.post. Copy this guy. Post, copy the payload, body, raw, application JSON, not payment methods, but the payments, sorry about that, amount, okay, let's say $21. Well, Stripe actually calculates in cents, so just remove the dot parts and apply some currency. Payment method, remember we got this guy back from, whoops. We got this guy back from here, payment method. And this can be meta information, such as, for instance, what course the user buys, etc., etc. That's beyond the scope of this video, so I'm not going to show it to you. However, we now have access denied, of course, because we need a JWT token. Copy the token, go back here, authorization, bury token, invoke it, and ta-da! We have now paid for a course. If we go back to our users now, right? Management, users and roles. We look at blah, blah. You can see now the user belongs to course client. And now this user, if we now re-authenticate the user, which needs to be done, unfortunately, to get a new JWT token. Why? Because now the JWT token, if we go to here and paste it in, see role guest here. Now you see role guest and course client. You can use this new JWT token to invoke our sessions. Ta-da! We've got access to sessions, and we've created a web API required to create an e-commerce website selling intellectual property online, and we did it in 10 minutes. And the only reasons why I couldn't do it in 5 was because I had to explain what I actually did as I did it. Anyways, there's a couple of links in the description of this YouTube video if you want to dive deeper into some of the concepts I went through in this video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.